Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be talking about the Black Moon Lilith in Scorpio. Now, as far as this placement goes, the Black Moon Lilith can represent a very strong negative manifestation of the sign and a dark side of the sign, if you will. Now, as far as this placement goes, in some isolated cases, it could even indicate perhaps the person being raped, a victim of rape, could indicate promiscuity, being oversexed, showing vengeful, vindictive tendencies, being connected with something very nefarious and some criminal activity. It could be somebody that could harbor grudges, hold grudges for a pretty good period. And what's interesting is I have someone that woman that figured prominently in my life some years ago. She has the Black Moon Lilith in Scorpio in the fourth house, and she had claimed that somebody prominent family member had raped her, and I thought that was very interesting. So anyway, well, another thing about the Black Moon Lilith is that it could reflect an area of life that puts us in a state of trepidation. Now, being in Scorpio, this could indicate losing power, control, being manipulated, perhaps not being able to manipulate the circumstances or situation in their life. It could also be associated with general endings of things, not necessarily a literal death, but just coming a figurative death, a closure, or not being able to end things, perhaps. Now, also, the Black Moon Lilith in one's natal chart could reflect that area where that person is trying strongly, they want to extricate themselves from, but might have tremendous difficulty in doing so. And given that being in Scorpio, this could be a situation where they feel a lack of power. It could be a situation maybe where they feel they're being controlled, where they're being manipulated to some degree. It could be a situation that they're maybe showing some obsessive tendencies, or maybe another person is showing some obsessive tendencies toward them. And also in some extreme isolated cases, could it be, I'm thinking perhaps maybe somebody, speaking of fixation and obsession, a person that might be stalking them relentlessly, and this could mean, given the Scorpio sign, I think Scorpio is probably most connected with this of all the zodiac signs. So that's another possibility, I think. So now another thing about the Black Moon Lilith could represent an area in one's chart, or I should say it could reflect, I should say, based on the sign that it's in, that could represent a person that may figure prominently in their life scheme. So given this case, Black Moon Lilith in Scorpio, that could indicate that a person with a sun, moon, or ascendant in Scorpio may figure prominently in this person's life. It could also figure as perhaps an adversary as well. So if someone, say, someone has this placement, it's very possible that a sun, moon, or ascendant in Scorpio could play a dominant role in their life, but sometimes for better, or in some cases for worse. Or it could simply be somebody that simply embodies the characteristics of Scorpio, such as being perhaps very obsessed, very fixated, very determined, intense. Someone has a lot of emotional intensity, or somebody very powerful but might have some really some vengeful tendencies. So anyway, where the Black Moon Lilith is placed in one's chart could also show an area in life that they don't want unveiled or disclosed. It could be that dark side that somebody is trying to conceal and keep hidden, and they're doing all they can not to let the cat out of the bag, so to speak. So, and in this case, being in Scorpio, it could indicate a sexual past, a sordid past in general, criminal history, nefarious activity, maybe some subversive activity, ties to the underworld. It could even indicate perhaps some destructive tendencies that this person may have it. And in some cases, this person, the Black Moon Lilith in Scorpio, could be involved in something rather dark. Could be even like, say, witchcraft in some isolated cases, or even something simple as playing with a Ouija board. They could be very fixated with the cult, like in supernatural subjects. So, anyway, as far as sexually goes, well, saying this person will be very erotic could be a vast understatement. This person can very well be highly erotic, have very exceptionally high sexual urge, can entice others with the promises of having great, tremendous sex. But what they can do is also is by bringing these people into their life sexually, they might get them to divulge secrets about themselves that they could use against them later on in a power play scheme, so to speak. So, and also this person might entice others by wearing very provocative outfits and making them look very sexy. And this could be person too that could be very mysterious and can have a very mesmerizing effect on others. Now, last but not least, as far as this position goes, it's important. It's not all negative, that one can embrace the higher level in association with the sign that the Black Moon Lilith is in. And in this case, it could be using perhaps some ability to decipher the motives of others and their intentions. It could be about taking that Scorpio transformation ability and being able to use it to their strongly in an advantageous way. It could even be doing some work connected with transformation. It could be something where doing some recycling. It could be rebuilding vehicles, perhaps, or making older vehicles and giving them a nice new look to them. And it also showing the resiliency of Scorpio and showing the tremendous bounce back ability, so to speak, perhaps doing something in connection with astrology, or doing and using the guile that might have been used previously to manipulate others and to get others to do what they want. Use that guile characteristic perhaps into something connected with a detective work, and again catching and helping catch the bad guys, and using this to something in a more positive manner. So anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment for the Black Moon Lilith in Scorpio, and stay tuned next time where I'll be talking about the Black Moon Lilith in Sagittarius. Two things I want to get with you on before I head out. Firstly, the stars may impel but do not compel. And secondly, never isolate any single astrological element, aspect, planetary placement, position, configuration, influence, or what have you, and make an analysis of a person, astrologically speaking, based on this alone, because astrologically speaking, the person is the sum of all their components in their natal chart and not just one. Until next time, people, stay well.